Welcome to the Midwest Autoharp Academy Virtual Video Workshop. Here's the tune that you're going to learn. That Mozart guy, he knew what he was doing. I found this melody in a past issue of the Autoharp Quarterly magazine, and I've adapted it to fit this workshop. In this workshop, you're going to learn to play this tune in 2 octaves, and then I'm going to teach you 4 easy melody techniques that work well with this melody. We're going to start by playing the tune in the higher octave. Now, because it's in the higher octave, you have to press down harder on the chord buttons in order to dampen the strings in the higher range of your Autoharp. And because you're using this extra force, you want to practice in short periods of time of 10 to 15 minutes. And then take a break. Let your body recover, come back, and practice again for a short period of time. And repeat, and repeat. And what you'll find is after a couple of weeks, your overall playing of the Autoharp is going to become easier because you will have started to strengthen the muscles in your left arm and hand. Now we're going to learn this tune in short phrases, and we'll play them slowly, and you'll have the music in front of you. Then we'll play the whole tune in the higher octave. So here we go. this is a virtual workshop, you can repeat parts of this video over and over until you get the challenging part. And likewise, if parts of it are easy for you, you can skip through them pretty quickly and move on to the next part. But give yourself time. Don't expect to acquire all this information in just one sitting. And just come back and visit this video as many times as you need to. Now, let's play the tune in the lower octave slowly. Here we go. Have a fun time contrasting the two octaves. You might play through the tune one time in the higher octave and then immediately play it through again in the lower octave and then immediately play it a third time in the higher octave. Or you could play one half of the tune in one octave and the other half of the tune in another octave. And we're going to try that. We're going to play through the first half of the tune in the higher octave and play through the second half of the tune in the lower octave. So get ready. We'll start with the higher octave, and then the second half of the tune we'll do in the lower octave. Here we go. In addition to playing this tune in the two octaves, I want to teach you 4 easy playing techniques that sound really good with this melody. The first one is the finger pluck. Now, if you're used to doing your pinches with your middle finger and your thumb, to do a finger pluck, what you want to do is not engage your thumb, but just pluck the strings with your finger pick. So it sounds like this. Again, I'm just plucking the strings with my finger pick. The second technique is called the restricted pinch. So if you do the pinch with your middle finger and your thumb, what you want to do is keep your middle finger and thumb close together and space them so that your finger is plucking the melody, and below it your thumb pick is plucking a harmony note about a third or a fifth below the melody note. So it sounds like this. You're just trying to space your finger and your thumb close together so that they are each playing a different note, with your finger playing the melody note and your thumb playing a lower note. And to play the phrase of the melody, it sounds like this. And the way you learn this is you take the finger pick off of your middle finger, still do a pinch like you normally would, but listen to your thumb and try to get those lower harmony notes. Did you hear that? Let's try it again. Once you can get that pretty consistently, then put your finger pick back on and do the restricted pinch again. And listen for the thumb. Now you can combine the finger pluck with the restricted pinch. And so sometimes you're plucking the notes and sometimes you're doing the restricted pinch on the notes. And so it sounds like this. Pluck, 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 pinch, pluck, pluck, pinch, pluck, pinch, pinch. So you're just deciding that some notes you're plucking and some notes you're pinching, and it gives an interesting harmony line underneath the melody. The third technique you can do is called the stretch pinch. The stretch pinches is that you move your thumb away from your finger as much as you can. And how far you can move it depends on the size of your hand. I have a large hand, so I can move my thumb way down into the bass, but other people have smaller hands, and so they can just play lower notes. But ideally what you're trying to get is to where you're playing the two octaves at the same time. So your finger is plucking the high octave and your thumb is plucking the low octave at the same time. Or you can even play, if you got a big hand, you can even play lower than that. Just trying to stretch out your hand and get as much bass notes, lower toned harmony notes as you can with your thumb. And the way you learn this is you take off your finger pick off of your middle finger. You still do the stretch pinch, still do the pinches, but listen to what your thumb is doing and try to hit those lower harmony notes. Once you can hit those lower harmony notes with your thumb, and put your finger pick back on and do the stretch pinch again and listen for the thumb. You can also combine the finger pluck with the stretch pinch, and sometimes you're plucking the notes, and sometimes you're doing a stretch pinch on some of the notes. And so then it sounds like this. Pluck, 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 pinch, And so you're just deciding through experimentation what notes to pluck, what notes to do the stretch pinch on to mix up the sound and get an interesting harmony, low harmony going underneath. The fourth technique is the multiple finger pinch. And this sounds really good when you're doing the lower octave. And what you're doing is you're doing a pinch with your thumb and your middle finger, and then you're also adding a middle tone with your first finger. So all three fingers are plucking a note at the same time. This technique increases the bass sound under the melody, and it increases the volume of your playing. You can also do a multiple finger pinch with three fingers and your thumb, where the ring finger plays the melody, your middle finger, your first finger, and your thumb play lower notes at the same time, and this sounds good on the higher octave. It gives a really full bass and treble sound to your playing. And you can combine that with the other three playing techniques and playing in 2 octaves to put together an arrangement. And the way you do that is you start experimenting on what sounds good. Do I play a high octave for one half, low octave for another half, or low octave for one half, high octave for another half, high octave whole time through, low octave for whole time through, and listen. And when something sounds good to you, you want to make a note of it, write it down so you remember it. And then you add these different parts together to come up with an arrangement. You can take these the octave contrasts and the 4 melody playing techniques and use them for tunes that you already know. If you put the tunes in the key of either C or D, most tunes seem to fit into 2 octaves in those 2 keys. So like if I took Red River Valley and put it in the key of C, I could play a low octave and I can play a high octave. Here's the high octave. And so you can use these techniques for any melody that you already know in your repertoire and have fun with them. Now I'm going to finish up today by playing you an arrangement that I came up with using the contrast between the 2 octaves and using the 4 melody techniques. So I will play in a high octave and a low octave. I'll be doing a finger pluck, a restricted pinch, a stretched pinch, and a multiple finger pinch. And in the video I will label when I'm doing each of these so you can hear and see what I'm doing. Now I hope we can all get together in the year 2021. And until then, have fun playing your Autoharp.